I've got a couple of steps here that I'd like you to follow. And the first one is you're going to solve for the variable. So the variable being the x over here. Okay, you're going to solve, like set this equation equal to 0, and you're going to solve for it. Then afterwards, what you're going to do is you're going to set up the integral, and then you're going to solve the integral. Okay, so not too many steps, not too complicated. So first things first, we want to solve for x. So, okay. I've got x minus 5 is equal to 0. So we're going to set it equal to 0, okay? And x minus 5 is just going to simply be x is going to be equal to 5, okay? So that's step 1, okay? Just put a 1 over there. That's step 1. I've solved for x, all right? So after solving for x, basically this number over here, or should I say this x equals 5. And this 5 over here is going to be your new limits. Okay, limits, I mean, you see in place of the 0 and the 10 over here, you're going to be adjusting it because you're going to have a 5 over here, right? So what I'm going to do is set up the new integral, and basically it's going to be from 0 to whatever your new limit here is. So that's going to be 5, okay? So you're always going to solve for x first, get that new limit, and put it up there as your upper bound for your first integral, okay? And then what you're going to do is, because absolute values there's a negative and a positive side of the graph, what you're going to do is you're going to put a negative on the first side, right? And basically it's going to come from x minus 5 dx. So you've put a negative there, and that's what you're going to do to set up your first integral. Now your second integral, you're going to actually now just start from the upper limit over here. You're going to put it as the lower limit here, right? And you're going to go to your original upper limit or upper bound, okay? So what we're going to do is over here we're still going to keep it the same. That's all you have to remember, okay? First off, one of these equations or expressions in this term, one of these expressions gets a negative in front of it, and that expression is the one that goes from 0 to 5. So from 0, from your lower bound to the number you've gotten over here, okay? So now what we're going to do is solve for it. I'm going to have I'm first going to make my life easier. Okay, I'm going to distribute the negative here, and it's going to be negative x plus 5 dx. Okay, and this is going to be plus the integral of from 5 to 10 of x minus 5 dx. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually find the integral, or the definite integral of the problem here. So for this first one here, it's going to be negative 1/2 x squared plus 5x. Okay? And this is going to go from 0 to 5. And then the second one is going to be plus 1/2 x squared minus 5x. Okay, that's going to go from 5 to 10. Okay, anyway, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to plug in the limits, and basically this is just to let you know that I'm using the second fundamental theorem of calculus. So just if you wanted to know that. So what I'm going to do is 1/2, I'm going to put a 5 in. Wherever I see an x, I'm going to put a 5. Okay, let me include a bracket here. Minus negative 1/2. My lower limit here is going to be 0 squared plus 5, 0. Okay, so I'm done with the first terms here. Okay, so now let me do the second terms here, and basically what I'm going to have is plus 1/2. Wherever I see an x, I'm going to put in a 10. It's going to be minus, same thing again, but now this time wherever I see an x, I'm going to put in a 5. Be careful with keeping your signs, correct, because we're about to do something very interesting. You'll see it in a second. Anyway, I've got 5 squared, which is 25. So this is just going to be 25 over 2. Negative 25 over 2. plus, and I'm getting rid of the brackets this side because I don't think I need them anyway. That's going to just be 25 minus, and this is going to be actually a plus because it's negative times negative, which is a positive, but this whole thing here is 0 anyway, so I'm not going to bother going through it. Okay, then I'm going to have plus, now I'm over here, by the way, so I'm going to have 1/2 times 10 squared, so 10 squared is 100 over 2. That's the same thing as 50 minus 50 minus this is going to be 25 over 2. Sorry about that. This is going to be 25 over 2. And I'm looking right over here. That's 25 over 2 because it's 5 squared, and that's multiplying 1/2. And then now look, this is where what I was talking about. Can you see there's a negative out here? This negative first it got distributed to the first term, just so I had negative 25 over 2. Now it's getting distributed to the second term, which is going to make it positive 25. Okay, so be careful about that. So you could just take all of this and plug it in a calculator, but if you're like me who doesn't have a calculator, I guess I'm just going to calculate this myself. It's not going to be too hard, so I'm going to deal with the whole numbers first. Anyway, so I have 25 plus 25, which is 50 minus 50. So these three are going to go because 25 plus 25 is 50, and minus 50, that's 0. And then I'm going to have plus 100 over 2. You know, I can simplify this, but I won't because everything right now is a fraction. Everything I'm left with is a fraction. So anyway, this is going to be negative 20. This is going to be negative 50 over 2 plus 100 over 2, which is the same thing as same thing as 50 over 2, which is the same thing as 25. Okay, so this would be our area under the curve. Okay, so thanks for watching, and good luck.